Welcome everyone to the Virtual Cultural Expressions Festival. Bienvenue tous au Festival d'expression culturelle virtuelle. The Cultural Expressions Festival is coordinated by the Multicultural Association of Fredericton in partnership with Fredericton's ethnocultural groups. Le Festival d'expression culturelle est coordonné par l'Association multiculturelle de Fredericton à l'aide des groupes ethnoculturels ici au Fredericton. With this year's theme, We Are Stronger Together, the festival is offering a series of fun virtual activities from diverse cultures up until July 1st. Le thème de cette année est Nous sommes ensemble, nous irons plus loin. Le festival va offrir une série d'activités virtuelles préparées par diverses cultures jusqu'au 1er juillet. Special thanks to our funders who made this festival possible, including the Immigration, Refugees and Citizenship Canada, Canadian Heritage, New Brunswick Post-Secondary Education Training and Labor, City of Fredericton, Downtown Fredericton. Nous aimons remercier nos fondeurs qui ont rendu ce festival possible. Il inclut l'éducation postsecondaire de formation et du travail, Immigration, Réfugiés et Citoyenneté Canada, Ville de Fredericton, Downtown Fredericton et Patrimoine canadien. Thanks to the partners and funders, we are able to offer these online activities this year instead of canceling the festival due to current situations. That's why we set the theme as We Are Stronger Together. Grâce à nos fondeurs et partenaires, nous avons la chance d'offrir
And you're welcome to begin.
Okay. Hi, my name is Shuting Shi. I'm an active member in the CCANB, which is like the Chinese Canadian Association of New Brunswick. And today I will be teaching you about mythological Chinese creatures today. So I'm going to be sharing my screen. All right. So I'll be talking about several Chinese mythical creatures, and then we'll be drawing a dragon together because of time constraints. So here's a Chinese dragon, and the character for it is Long. Right here you can see in red. It's a symbol of power, strength, and good luck. In ancient times, it was believed to have power over weather, and particularly those which were water related, like rains and floods. And the emperor would often associate himself with the dragon. So over time, it was like synonymous that the dragon would be a symbol of the emperor. And often he would wear clothing that was embroidered with dragons on it. And here we have a picture of the Qing Dynasty flag, and you can see it's a dragon. Next. And then here we have a quote about dragons from a Han Dynasty scholar. And he says that his antlers resemble those of a stag, his head that of a camel, his eyes those of a demon, his neck that of a snake, his belly that of a clam, his scales of a carp, his claws those of an eagle, his soles those of a tiger, his ears those of a cow. So dragons are like a combination of a lot of different animals. And here we have a picture of a dragon. So dragons were very important to Chinese mythology, and they were involved in a lot of different myths. And the main ones were the 4 dragon kings and the 9 sons of the dragon. According to the four dragon kings, a dragon corresponded for each of the four seas. We have the east, the west, the north, and the south sea. And in ancient times, people would pray and offer sacrifices at temples dedicated to their local dragon king for good weather. So, like if there was a flood, the people would pray that the flood would go away. If there was no rain, they would pray for rain. And the other myth was the 9 sons of the dragon. So there's like too many of them to like name and go into depth with, but each of them had symbolic meaning. They were frequently featured in literature, and they had their likeness carved into buildings or personal items. For example, Chu Wen, one of the sons, was placed on the corners of roofs because he swallows bad spirits. And dragons are often depicted with pearls. Oops. Dragons are often depicted like chasing a pearl or holding a pearl. And the pearls were a symbol of power, prosperity, thunder, or the moon. And so we're gonna look at a few other mythological creatures. We have the Feng Huang, sorry. And you can see the characters right here in red. It was symbolic of grace and virtue. And so while the emperor would be the Long, the dragon, the empress would be the phoenix. So she was often represented by the phoenix. And another quite populous mythological creature was the Qinin. He symbolizes good luck, and in myth, it would appear before the birth or the death of fair rulers and wise scholars. Here we have a more obscure one. Here's a Xiangyu, and he's like this 9-headed snake monster. He would like drink up all the water sources, and then he would destroy them so that nothing could grow in the water sources and no one could use them anymore. It was just very bad in mythology. Here's another picture of him. And then while stone guardian lions aren't really mythological creatures, I guess you could say that lions are not indigenous to China, so they've been made into myth. So they were thought to protect buildings from harmful spirits and people. So you will often see these outside of Chinese buildings. They also represent yin and yang, dong. The left, as you can see, shows a mother stepping on her cub, which is apparently the negative. And on the right, we have the male stepping on a ball, which is the positive. I don't really know why the female's negative, the male is positive. It's just what the myth says. All right, so we can get started on drawing the dragon. I'm not sure if I will be able to get through it to all of it, but we'll try our best. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna just show this picture of the dragon for everyone to see. Okay, and I'll start drawing on this camera. Okay.
Would you share with us, would you stop the screen sharing and then we'll highlight your main video?
Okay, sure.
There we go. Excellent. Thank you. So, here we're gonna draw this dragon, and it looks a little complicated, but I'll try to break it down as best I can. And
So, okay. So around center right, I'm going to start off with the head, center upper right, and I'm going to draw an oval for the head. And all right. And we can see the body is a very curvy shape, almost, it's best to think of it as an S shape. So I'm going to draw the outside edge, and then I'll draw the other edge of it. I'll draw it like that. So think of like an S. And then I'll draw the other end of it. You want to keep a uniform width. Alright. So let's start with the head. You can't really see the details too well, but I'll try to explain it best I can. This head is a confusing shape. I will, to break it down, I sort of made these two weird shapes. So it's sort of like, it's just curved on the end. And these would be the two mouths. And around here, where the edge of the oval is, I would put the eyes. The eyes I'm going to simplify as like semicircles. So there's one at the edge of this weird shape I drew. And the other one would be, I'm going to put outside of this little shape I drew. And then I'm going to draw like, there's like spikes coming out of the back of his eyes. Maybe I'd call that the eyebrows or something. So it looks sort of like that. It's like some eyebrows. And he has these like tiny little pupils. They're just dots really. Okay, and he has like a little protruding snout. And then it like levels down. And then he has this nose. It kind of comes in like that. And then I'm going to draw in the spikes around his snout. Just stopping with the noses. Right. I'm going to draw the outline of his lips right now. I'm going to start where the snout left off, and then it's like a wiggly line, but it's important that it extends to behind the eyes. So like through here, up to here. And then another wiggly line to the edge of this weird shape. And I'm going to draw another line that's parallel to the one we just drew. And now I'll make up the lips. And it looks like he's breathing fire or something over here. Maybe that's his tongue. No, it looks more like fire. Anyways, it's like this kind of like wiggling shape again. There seems to be two of them. And that would fill up his mouth. You can see like the bare edge of his lips on the other side, and I drew that in. And then we see he has spikes around his mouth, so we can draw those in too. And around the bottom as well. So I'm going to draw the ones starting back here first. And you can see they're very long around here, but then they get shorter near the middle of his lower jaw. And then they get a little bit longer again. And then he has these little whiskers, so I'm going to take a point from the middle of his top jaw, and I'm going to draw these little wiggly lines again. And I'm going to repeat that on the other side. And then he's got like a bumpy kind of head. So I'm just going to complete that part so it reaches this base of his neck. Because this oval was just a guiding line. So he's got one sort of a bump over here, and then it connects to his neck. Another curve. And then lastly, we can draw his antlers. Remember the quote that scholar said, dragons have antlers for horns. So it extends from the back of his head, and it's just like this little curve. And then on the other side, there's a curve that's lower down, and then they connect for one point. And on the other side, you can only see this tiny point of the antler. And that's the head done. It has some shading going on, but I'm not going to get too into that for the moment. So he has these scales all around his body. Actually, first I'm going to draw the other side of his stomach. So as you can see, his body's all twisting and turning, and sometimes we can see his underbelly, which according to that scholar was like some clamshells. And so it makes an appearance around here. I'm going to draw in two lines to represent that area. So here, and then it ends over here. And then one near the bottom curve. And then I'm going to draw one of the scales to show you what they look like. So it's a semicircle. And then there's a spike at the ends. There's two spikes at each end, and then there's one in the middle. And they just continue on down the back like that. All the way down. Sometimes you can see them, sometimes you can't. I'm I'm gonna draw some lines to represent where they would be on this back, so like around top over here. And these are just light lines because you don't want to, they're not really visible on the body, they're just there to outline where the spikes would be. So around here. They actually disappear up here. So that's where all of these spikes would be. Yeah, and then the underbellies are just decorated by lines. And that's simple enough, so I'm gonna draw them all in at the moment, just so it's like easier to see everything. All right, now the obvious thing I'm missing at the moment is his legs. His legs. So there's one over here around where his twist ends. Starts over here. And so one end of the arm is here. Here. So this would be the width of the arm. And then I'm going to use some lines to represent the motion of the arm, just so it's easier to draw later on. So it's kind of like a curve. And then the claws at the end, I'm going to represent them by curves as well. So there's one curve here, another over here. So I'm going to make the outline of his arm. He's got like this, like a rough elbow. No, he's like got this little dent in his elbow. And then is a curve as it goes up to the claw. And the top portion of the arm follows that same sort of pattern, except this dip is smooth. And then it connects, kind of curved towards the claw. And the claw is full of like little wiggles and stuff. So I'm gonna just draw in the bumps. It's like one curve and then two curves. And at the bottom there's just a series of curves as well. And then a long claw. So just some curves on top and curves on the bottom. And it ends in sort of like a bulbous shape and a long claw at the end. Some more curves on top, some on the bottom, and then a curve for the claw. And as that, and from that quote, we know that the claws are actually eagle claws. So I'm just gonna erase where that arm goes through and covers the belly. And now it looks a little closer to being completed. He has a few spikes down near his elbows. I'm gonna draw those in. And then he has these like little attachments. They look like fire. I'm gonna call them fire. And then they're just a series of wiggles, but they're elegant, like stand out. And they're the width of his arm. So this one connects back. And there are two branches of it. And there it is. And then I'm going to erase the lines. It overlaps as well. Alright, so now it's just a matter of drawing the other legs. I can see it has 5-minute stuff, so I'll try to make it quick. So I'm going to draw in a curve for the other arm down here, and it looks like a little hook shape, and he's got a width of approximately yay big, and looks like around here at the end of this, at the point where it curves is where the claw starts. So I'm going to draw the arms up to there, and then draw these claws. So sort of like last time, there's just some lumps up top, lumps on the bottom, and there's a claw at the end. Again, some lumps on top, on the bottom, claw, 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 claw. And he also, this arm also has some spikes. And then the leg, it starts around here, and it's got this amount of width that I've worked out, and so I'm going to draw its general motion. A little curve. And around here is where the claw starts. There's one claw here, another here, another here. I'm going to draw the leg up to where the claw is. And then again, there's some lumps on the bottom, the claw. Right, got some claws. And then the last one is sticking out near the, right here between these 2 points. And this one's a lighter curve, and then this is around where his claw starts. He just got them coming out like that. Draw some lumps. And then his claw. Oof, I forgot to draw the leg. Oh, that's fine. It just follows this line. And that's good enough. Alright, I'm going to erase any overlapping lines right now. So I'm going to draw how there's this flame around his joint on the arm up here. I'm going to draw the same thing around the bottom. And this is kind of just a wiggly line, just like the last one. 2 wiggly lines, really. I'm going to erase the overlapping line. Right, so that's basically it. I haven't drawn in all of the details. Well, I think, yeah, I did explain how to do the scales. The spines on top. Oh yeah, and one last thing, like his scales on the sides of his body. Like the scholar described it as a carp. So think of, like how you would draw fish scales. And have lines going across one way, and I'm going to do lines going across in the opposite direction. And then I've done the scales. So if you do these pointy scales and then like the normal scales all up down his body. And you should have a finished dragon by the end of this. So it's 6:30 now. I believe I finished. And yeah, that was a tutorial for how to draw a dragon. So thank you for watching, and I hope you learned something today.
I hope you enjoyed how to draw Chinese mythical creatures in a traditional Chinese style. J'espère que vous avez aimé le dessin des créatures mythiques chinoises. Tomorrow we are featuring the Akkadian culture. Please visit the festival page on Facebook. There will be fun educational content throughout the day. Thank you. Demain, nous allons présenter la culture acadienne. Visitez les pages du festival sur Facebook. Il y aura tant de contenu éducationnel toute la journée. Merci.